If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Miles Johns back on the show. He's going to be making his UFC debut on September 14th at UFC Vancouver. He's going to take on Cole Smith. Very happy to have Miles Johns back on the program. How are you, man?
Thank you. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So I guess the question is pretty much answered now that you have a fight booked, because the last time we spoke, it was right after the Contender Series win, you earning a contract, and you talked about some injuries that you were dealing with heading into the Contender Series fight. I assume you have taken care of the leg. How is that all feeling?
It's feeling great, man. We have been taking care of it. I got a great team working on it right now, Dr. Mann and Coach Mike. And so it's feeling great. I'm feeling better, way better than I was before the Contender Series fight. At this point in that fight camp, I wasn't even running and stuff. So I'm busting hard cardio, doing everything. And I just feel more mobile than I ever have before. So it's great.
And we're just a few weeks away from this one. How has camp overall been going? We've discussed the importance of you being at Fortis MMA, how great that team has been as of late, the rise of that gym as a whole. How has this camp been going as you get ready for September 14th?
It's been going good. And by good, it's been freaking tough. We've been pushing the pace. It's been a really hard camp. Mentally and physically, it's been tough. But that's what I want, and that's what I'm looking for training here at Fortis. The fight camp really is the fight. Yeah, you got to go out there and perform, but if you can get through the hard fight camp, then that really sets you up to go out there and just put it all out in the cage. So it's been great. It's been exactly what I've wanted, and I'm ready to finish up these last 3 weeks here and have fight week, and then mix it up.
Cole Smith was one of the names on your quasi-hit list, so to speak. I believe he was the first name you threw out there when I asked you about who you'd like to debut against when the time came. When you saw the name on the contract, saw Cole Smith there, were you just like, boom, this is exactly what I wanted?
Yeah, it's crazy. My coach actually called me. I was just hanging out in Kansas with my wife and her family, and he called me. He's like, hey, how's everything going? How you feeling? How's it growing? I'm like, I'm healthy. Like, we're doing great. He's like, good, because we're fighting September 14th. Cole Smith, who you told me you wanted to fight before, and I was like, what? It just hit me so quick. We were like on the way back, driving to Kansas and stuff. The wife and I were talking, and she's like, I just want to know like when the debut is going to be and who it's going to be. Like, is it going to be months from now, soon? I was like, yeah, well, I'm sure we'll find out sometime soon. Just gotta keep training hard and stuff, and then a couple of days later, boom, it goes. And I really wasn't expecting it to happen all that fast, but I'm so grateful that it did. I want to keep this momentum going. I love this turnaround. Like I said, I love this fight. I'm nothing against Cole Smith. He's a very good opponent, and that's why I like the fight. I like his style. Tall, Muay Thai kind of wrestler guy. I haven't really fought many people like that. He's undefeated, which is the biggest thing that I like. And I wanted that Mitch Gangone fight that he got on short notice. I was hoping to get that one, and he got it. So I was like, all right, well, once I get there, then we'll see. We'll have to settle that. So,
what did you make of Cole's UFC debut? He took the fight on short notice. It was a fight that you had hoped you would get, but he ended up getting it, and he was victorious, got the victory. What did you make of his debut, especially taking it on such short notice?
I give him a lot of respect for that. It was a good win for him. Before that, I don't know how his competition was. On his record, it didn't look like it was at the level of some other people's, but that was a good opponent for him to beat, a good experience, Mitch Gangone. So yeah, I thought he did good. He handled the nerves and everything like that well, and he got his UFC win. So what can you say? I'm happy for him for that, and he got his win. So now it's time for me to get mine.
There was a thread on Twitter talking about this particular season of the Contender Series, and I guess the main topic behind it had to do with guys who got contracts on the season not being UFC ready, not being of UFC caliber. In your case, a lot of people, I talked to Brendan Fitzgerald a couple weeks ago, him included, all believe that you are UFC ready. You are one of the guys with big upside coming off of the season. And I'm not sure how much of the rest of the season you watched, but what do you think about that and the talks that the UFC is essentially draining these regional talent pools to fill spots on the show?
I thought there was quite a few guys that looked pretty good out there. I think there were some guys that weren't quite ready. Most of the guys that Dana picked, though, I agree that they deserve their shot in the UFC. He was giving out contracts a little bit more, it seemed like, this year. But I mean, it's growing. Like UFC is growing. Like just this past fight card this weekend, I mean, that was huge. You know, it's blowing up. So it's good to see that he's starting to bring some new people in to get some things going. And yeah, I do agree that Team Fortis has the most ready guys go through the Contender. I think that our guys are just kind of on a different level than some of the other guys on the Contender and in the UFC. So I think we just set ourselves apart that way. But I mean, I saw some good fights on there, and I was happy to see some of those guys get the contract.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, it is what it is. When you go out there, you have a performance, you do exactly what Dana tells you to do, he's going to give you a contract. So it doesn't matter if you're 3-0 or 4-0 or 12-0, you're going to get a contract.
And Dana's not going to lie. He's not going to be like, oh, I like this guy just to say he likes somebody. Like, if he likes your fighting, you're going to know. If he doesn't, you're also going to know. So he just keeps it real, and he saw some talent that he wanted in the UFC, so hats off to those guys.
What did you think of Corey Sandhagen's performance on Saturday? I mean, he's a guy that potentially you could be squaring off against down the road. He looked really good. Big win over Rafael Assunção. What did you think of that performance?
I think he looked good. I think he mixes it up well. He's a long guy too. Very creative, very unpredictable. But I see some ways that I could beat him. I see, it's just like I've said before, it's just exciting, man. We got some real athletes, some real mixed martial artists in the bantamweight division and other divisions too. So just watching these guys and the level that they're at, man, I'm just it excites me. It makes me want to just work super hard, and just go, because I know that he's a potential opponent in the future. So yeah, he looked good. He would be a tough fight. He's no pushover by any means. But we'll be ready when that time comes.
Now you got guys like Faber making his way back. Frankie Edgar's dropping to 35. Like the timing couldn't have been better for you to get on the Contender Series and get a contract. I mean, those fights, maybe just looking at the rankings and kind of the meritocracy of everything, maybe a little ways down the road, but they are there. Does that get you excited knowing that, you have that big, deep talent pool already, and now we're throwing a couple of legends in the mix as well?
100%. It gets me real excited. And I just got to give a lot of credit to my team, because we had a lot of those guys go through the Contender Series and get these quick finishes, these quick knockouts and stuff, and they didn't have all the momentum and all the hype behind them when they did it, because they were the first from Fortis to go through it. But they really made the path. They set the path for me, and so I feel like I've had a lot. I feel like the UFC has really supported me and has really tried to push the guys in the Contender Series this year and the guys from Fortis. So yeah, I'm just grateful that they kind of led the way and made that path.
Speaking of Fortis and the Contender Series, how's Stephen Wynn doing? I know that was a tough one for him against Alan Cruz. Dana White still sang his praises after the fight, which is always a good thing. I went on Twitter and immediately said, "Don't be surprised if Stephen Wynn's next fight is in the UFC." How is he doing? Because I know how much he wanted that night and that fight to go his way.
He's in good spirits. He's taking it like a warrior that he is. It's a fight game. Anything can happen. Honestly, in the fight, when it was in the third and they're still going, I was like, man, Dana might sign both of these guys. This is one of the best fights the Contender Series saw this summer, And then after the knee, of course, but I know that Stephen Wynn's going to pick himself up. He's already training again and stuff, and he's going to be right back in the mix. He's going to be in the UFC, and he's going to be a problem in the UFC.
Are you pumped to head to the Great White North, to Canada? Have you been there before?
I haven't. I'm very excited. My wife loves whales, so hopefully we can find the time to go do some whale watching. I think it's a good season for it right now, so Google says. But yeah, I'm excited to just travel and get to fight people, man. It's amazing. This is the life of my dreams, and I'm so grateful to be here.
Obviously, Cole Smith being from Canada, you're going to be on somewhat enemy territory here. Are you someone who thrives off of that? Do you thrive off being the away team, so to speak, trying to crush some dreams, crush some hopes of some fans, or does that not even matter to you?
I love it, man. I'm coming to crash a party. I know they're going to be real excited. I know the fans are going to be there for him. I know he's going to be hyped up. It's like in his backyard. And yeah, I do thrive off that, man. That's competition. That's the high level competition that I just fiend for, like LFA. I've been so blessed. Everybody's had to come to my backyard, and you're not coming to my backyard and beating me. It's just not happening. And so I had that time, and now I get to go to somebody else's backyard and still beat them.
How do you see this all going down September 14th between you and Cole Smith? You crashing the party, heading to enemy territory for this UFC debut. I think this is a super high-level pairing, two of the best up-and-coming prospects in the division. I love this fight. What say you? How does it all play out?
Yeah, man, I'm coming to crash the party. I'm I know he's going to be really hyped up. It's in his backyard. I know he's going to be excited and ready to fight, but I am too. And yeah, it's hard to really explain, but I'm just coming to fight, man. My cardio's on point, my strength is on point, my skill set's on point, and I want that UFC win so bad. I want to keep this momentum going and get in there and get a couple wins under my belt. So Cole got to fight on his hands come September 14th, and I'm ready to go in there and just thrive off all that energy.
I'm not asking you to reveal anything unless you choose to do so, but as you know in the sport, closed mouths don't get fed, and you did a nice job of putting one of your ideas out there into the universe, and it paid off. So if all goes well on September 14th, is the Mystic Miles trend going to continue? Do you have another name in mind for the next one?
I don't have any names in mind right now. I may by fight time. There's like 3 bantamweight fights on that card. There's one right before me, and then one right after. So that's going to be a tell. Yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot of guys. I was impressed with Mario Bautista's last win. He really just showed a lot of heart and that Mexican grit, and I love that. I think that'd be an awesome fight. So there's a couple people, but right now I'm just solely focused on Cole, and I want to go out there and I just want to perform to my level. I still feel like they haven't seen the real Miles. Rewatching that Contender fight, I'm like, man, they haven't seen the real Miles yet. So I'm ready to go out there, can perform, and show what I'm all about.
Jeff Neal recently went to Canada and got a win in an absolutely wild fight against Nico Price at UFC 240. How cool is that to watch your teammate fight in a featured bout on a pay-per-view, put on a performance like that, especially with him being one of the leaders on the team, and you got a fight coming up?
Man, it's awesome. Like I really look up to that dude. I'm watching the things he does and seeing him go out there and perform like that. And I mean, it was a wild fight, but I mean, I felt like he was in control the whole time. He just seemed on a different level than Nico. Shout out to Nico. He's tough as they come, and he's just a fighter, so it makes it chaotic. But Jeff really handled him, and he got the 50K. Seeing that all my teammates getting the 50K, man, it's just it just lights a fire in you. You know, you just want to go out there and do the same thing. And everybody's using each other's energies, and we're just working harder and expecting more, planning more, setting the bar higher.
Miles Johns heading to Vancouver September 14th, stepping into the Octagon to face Cole Smith at UFC Vancouver. Really looking forward to this fight. Before we let you go, Miles, appreciate the time as always. Let the folks know where they can follow along with you on social media, any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest. Floor is yours, man.
Hey, thank you. You can get me on Instagram at Miles X Johns, and all the shout-outs and everything will be there. So follow me on Instagram. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Miles. All the best to you for the rest of camp and in the fight on September 14th.
All right, appreciate it, man.